This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. Hey everybody, Carm Capriotto, Remarkable Results Radio and another Town Hall Academy. Glad to have you here. Thank you for your continued support of the Aftermarket's premier podcast. We provide these insights and wisdoms for you because it's my mission. It's just what I want to do. Hey, we want to thank so much our great sponsors, our partners. NAPA Tracks will move your shop into the SMS fast lane with on-site training and 6-day-a-week support. Also, I think the biggest thing is the local representation. Are you kidding me? NAPA Tracks on the web at NAPATRACS.com. And my friend Chris Cotton from Auto Shop Owners, imagine investing in a change that transforms your business and multiplies your net profit. On average, Chris's clients see a staggering 9 times return on their investment in net profit. AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching at autoshopcoaching.com. Thank you, Chris. And are you ready to roll out a training plan for your automotive shop? Ready to optimize? We'll use today's class in just 5 minutes daily, boost knowledge, retention, and improve team performance. Start seeing results today. Great gamification programs here to challenge all your people. Join your peers at todaysclass.com. Hey, Carm here. Join Tracy and I for the 45th annual Max Training Event and Trade Show, the must-attend event for mobile AC and cooling professionals. It'll be January 30th through February 1st, 2025. It'll be at the Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida. There's going to be exhibitor booths, and there's still some available, by the way. Lots of great training, so don't miss out. Register today at maxmobileairclimate.org. That's maxmobileairclimate.org. We're going to be there doing some episodes and moderating a town hall panel with Donnie Cipher. Hope to see you there at the Max Conference. Okay, we're here to talk about when do I need to hire a shop manager? Guarantee you, if you're listening to this, you either have a shop manager, you're happy, you realize, go back to the decision that you made. Listen to this team talk about this. But also there's probably a ton of people, guys, that are struggling. It's right here. It's on the end of their nose. And they just don't know that another big step to grow the business, to contain, to control, to better manage the business is to get themselves a shop manager. With me to talk about all of this is Andy Adams. Man, you got a lot of stores. Terre Haute, Adams, Garvin and Lidster Auto Service, Terre Haute, 2 stores in Terre Haute. You have a place in Clinton, Indiana, Dirk's Auto. I see you buy them and you keep the names.
I do.
Cool. He has car lots. I love it. Car lots, too, in Terre Haute and Clinton. Here's the secret to all of these. This great team here is they're all Repair Shop of Tomorrow coaches. So not only do they run their own businesses, have shop managers, they're coaches. Steve Finzel is also here from Finzel's Master Tech in Terre Haute, Indiana. Are you guys competitors?
No. There's enough work for everybody in Terre Haute. Our paths really don't even cross, believe it or not. And we got a shop less than, I don't even think it's a mile apart.
That's a brilliant answer and the right answer. I love it. Thank you. There's enough work for all of us. And Larry Rose is here from Larry's Automotive in Newburgh, Indiana. You're all from Indiana.
Yes. Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Your first time here. And Andy, this is your first time here. Look, guys, Steve, let's start with you. When you start the business and you jump in and you run it, rock and roll, can't believe I got this thing going, and you wear every hat. There's a point in time, if you're going to find your calling, you need help.
Absolutely. That was my first thought when we're talking about when do you need a manager. Obviously, you need a manager the day you open the door, but you're a mechanic. So now what do? You are the mechanic, you're the service advisor, you're the bathroom cleaner. You're supposed to find time to work on the business, right?
That's the greatest thing is the whole work in the business or on the business in your thought. And I love to think about the E-Myth with Michael Gerber's E-Myth, which is a great book that everyone should read. And I also think about EOS and the Entrepreneurial Operating System, where you have the visionary and the integrators working for you. And typically our store managers, our shop managers are the integrators. But you've got to step out of that role of being in there each and every day. Andy, do you have a general manager? Do you have individual shop managers at all your stores?
So we've got a district manager and we do have individual managers at the stores. It didn't take me long to learn that it didn't matter how good of a technician I was. I could not produce as many hours as if I kept the team going, kept the cars in front of them, kept the parts coming. So it didn't take long to learn that I needed to quit wrenching and start driving the business.
When people get ready to hire a new position, first of all, the beauty of being in a coaching networking group is you can go to your peers and say, tell me about your shop manager hire. Did you make a mistake? How did you outline the responsibilities? What was I willing to give up? And I think that's so important that if you start doing interviews and you don't have an outline, a mission, a goal, you're probably going to make a bad hire, Larry.
True. Very true.
You're involved in this right now, right?
Yes.
Tell us about your story. I want to hear it.
As far as hiring a manager, just like Steve and Andy said, we were technicians. I started in my garage, one base shop. I grew and grew and grew, and I kept trying to fill the shoes of everyone that was working for me, whether I was helping a technician or I was helping a customer up front or I'm QCing some of the vehicles that were being done. If I had a problem, I felt like, especially if it was one technician, I had to keep driving their cars that they worked on. And it just got to be a hassle. I felt like I was being pulled in all directions and I could never be away from my shop. I could never go on vacation. I could never enjoy anything because I was so tied to the shop. I ran my business a little bit different. Back then, I didn't look at numbers. The only numbers I'd look at is my app on my phone to make sure I had money in the bank. I kept talking to different people and the head coaches, and I was like, I'm not a numbers guy. I look and make sure I've got money in the bank and I can pay my bills. And then I started talking to different people and decided, maybe I'll try, hiring a manager to take some of the stress off of me. And it's been great. And we ended up being partnered up with Repair Shops of Tomorrow. And it's been great because they've brought in things for me being a mechanic, raised as a mechanic. It's a whole new life out there of numbers and what you should be looking at. And you can really see that you're making money now. It's been really great.
You bring up such a great point. And since you're all coaches, I got to talk about this hunk of clay. You're all a hunk of clay and you're all this technician bunch of clay. And somebody's got to spin the table and shape you into something different. But you have to wanna.
Well, it's just like, Carmen, if you think about it, there's a football team or sports team, right? Got a tight end, a quarterback, the middle linebacker, everybody who's running the huddle, right? There's somebody in charge of the offensive huddle and defensive huddle. So we put all these thoughts in our head of how it's going to go down. And then are we the quarterback or are we the coach? So then all of a sudden we become the coach, but we forget to replace ourselves out in the business or on the team. I mean, nobody has. The quarterback is the head coach, right? So why do we in our business, the quarterback, our best diagnostic guy, the manager, is he really or is he not? Once you figure out, hey, I want to be coach, it's time for manager. Somebody's got to do those day-to-day things that you've done and writing them down. And some of the things Larry spoke about, some of the things that you want to get done every day, who's going to do them if you're not? I think it was you that said, when you're going to go hire, what are the job qualifications going to be for that? What is he going to do every day? Because if you tell a guy, here's what you're going to do. You're going to help the technicians. You're going to quality control road cars. You're going to keep my numbers right. You're going to clean the bathroom. You're going to do this and that. They're going to walk out the door. They're not doing that. That's 4 different jobs. So, I mean, when you think of it like that, that's when it's time for that manager. And it's time for you to take a step back and see if the processes you got in place work. And then you're going to change them. As soon as you take a step back, they're not going to be good enough. And you're going to have to add to it.
You just said something pretty big, and let me try to spin that. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I got to write SOPs before I hire a manager. Now, that would be a mistake. Am I right, Steve?
Before you hire a manager, you have to have SOPs in place that you're willing to have him hold your people accountable to. Absolutely. If that's where you were going with it. Like, if they're not in place and you say, just come in and this is how we do it, and then you walk away, where's the roadmap?
Okay, well, so I'll never hire a manager because I'm not built to do that.
Okay, now it's a different conversation.
Thank you. And I love to have the 7 different frameworks of every conversation because we can find an excuse never to do anything.
Correct.
What was your biggest excuse, Larry, as to not hire someone?
I didn't want to have someone else running my business that I built from the ground up. It was really hard for me to hand that over to somebody else. But I was lucky to find somebody like my manager because he came from the corporate world and he had been dealing with SOPs where I did not have those in place at my shop. So that and him being from a tire store, He was a district manager of several tire stores, and I did not have the tire background. So he was able to bring that along with the SOPs from the corporate world. So we worked together on those, and that's been great for me.
That's a great point. I love it. Hire somebody from the corporate world.
Here's something on SOPs, though, that I think as people that are interested in this conversation, right, that are going to be listening today, writing an SOP means this is something that I do, okay? It's very simple. It's just how we open up in the morning, turn the lights on, all that kind of stuff. Write it down. Who's going to do it? When are they going to do it? Why are they going to do it? Who's going to hold them accountable to it? So you can write these SOPs at the beginning on a piece of paper, put them in a Word document. They don't have to be 5 sentences long. You're going to change them as you see that it's really more complicated than that. Every step that we do throughout the day, I think I updated mine in the last 2 years with help at least a dozen times. You go in and how do we answer the phone? How do we check a customer in and out? How do we do DVI? All those different things.
Let's talk about walking into battle with a new manager. You all got to have great stories. And one of the things I mentioned early on in the show is you just can't leave that person alone. Let's try to frame up for our audience who says, okay, I'm bought. Convince me how to do this thing and tell me what could the pitfalls possibly be and how much time do I have to spend? As I said, you don't hire somebody and say, talk to the hand because the face ain't listening. You can't be removed. How long did each of you let this individual stay close to you or give them what did it take? Was it 6 months, a year to give the full wingship to that person?
So ideally, you're bringing somebody in that's working side by side with you. You're looking for somebody that thinks, acts, and cares as much as you. The thing that's missed a lot is as you step out, this person has to take your role and build the relationships with the team. Those relationships have to be strong enough that they can correct the team when needed. My first shop manager, there were instances where he would ask, hey, this car, it's dirty, it's filthy. I know nobody wants to work on it. Can you work on this for me and I will take care of you? Over time, there was a lot of broken promises. And due to those broken promises, he lost the trust of the team.
What a great point.
The other thing is, I don't think, like a lot of guys that have a shop, I'm a single shop owner. When I decided that I needed to step back and all of a sudden I'm supposed to be working on my business instead of in it, I don't know what that person looks like. I don't know if I can go get that corporate person or not. But I had to have a technician, like Andy said, somebody I worked in the shop with that understood what we wanted to do. And then a service advisor that really pushed himself, really understood, that wanted to lead that team. And then what happens in the front of the house? I've done it a little different way where I still want to be and am my general manager looking at the whole thing, but I have somebody running the front of the house, somebody running the service advisor team, and then somebody for the guys to go to in the shop when they have a question instead of they used to just come straight to me. There's different ways of onboarding or finding those right people and perfecting it before you know who you're looking for. Who are you looking for?
Can I roll that around in my head? You said you're the GM. You have a front of house, a service counter, and a back of house manager?
That's our management team.
Wow.
So they all have a leadership role in the shop. And then I'm the general manager. I'm the president of the company. I get to direct, but I direct it through them. Now they're my voice. They're my team builders, those people.
And that's kind of how I run my place. I've got a shop foreman that I used to do that role as well. I moved one of my guys into my position out in the shop, and he's my shop foreman. So now all my techs go to him when there's a problem or they need something test driven or something like that. I get involved in it every once in a while, but nothing hourly, daily, weekly like I used to get. And then this new manager I hired, he takes care of the front and he takes care of the back. And, just like you said, Steve. And then when you have something or you need to go over something, you don't have to go over 15 people with, if there's a change that needs to happen, you go over 2 people. You go over your general manager and you go over it with your shop foreman. And then they can put things in place that you want in place. You don't have to hold a meeting for 14 or 15 people when you have key people in place. And it sounds like I do the same thing as you do, Steve.
And it's teaching the team that, they have to go through that shop foreman. They can no longer come directly to you.
Is that a tough culture shock for your team that, just always loved to work with you or for you?
It's a tough culture shock for everybody involved. We used to be the leader of the whole organization, and now to walk in and have to tell a technician, hey, you need to go through your shop foreman, it's awkward. That's something I keep saying these days. This is the most awkward part of my career. I will not go into the shops unless I have an agenda, because when I've done the things I went there to accomplish, I've got to get out. Because if I stay, I end up breaking that chain of command and it becomes very awkward.
Do you go, though, to just see how people are, what's going on with their lives, say hello?
Pat people on the back, tell them great job, see how they're doing. Exactly.
Hey, let's face it. Your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing Trax to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, we'll be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NAPA Trax, that's NAPATRACS.com. Running an auto repair shop comes with challenges, but imagine facing every day with unwavering confidence, finding peace of mind in the smooth running of your shop, free from the stresses and worry that once clouded your vision. Experience the warmth of belonging to a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, all driven by the same passion and facing similar journeys to success. And at the end of the day, relish in the satisfaction of seeing your business thrive, your team motivated, and your customers leaving with a smile. With AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, unlock the full potential of your auto repair shop and the best version of you. Let's build your success story together. Visit our website at autoshopcoaching.com. Strengthen your shop's entire team with today's class. Everyone from technicians to service advisors can access impactful training on their phones in just 5 minutes a day. Opt for solo sessions or ignite friendly competition, challenging team members to climb the leaderboard for the highest score. Our effective daily training ensures measurable progress, helping you develop your team. Train smarter, not harder, with today's class and transform your shop and your people. Start seeing results today at todaysclass.com. Would love to know about temperature. And what I mean by temperature is to know when it's time. People are gravitated to listen here and say, okay, this is all great. Thank you for all connecting some of the dots. But when do I really know I need it? Now, I know you're burning the candle from every end. Do you have to have certain kinds of monies and profits going on? Do you have to have customers that are maybe complaining, people that aren't happy, retention issue? What's the temperature when? What are the warning signs for when?
I'll start off by saying when I found out that I needed one, I was trying to mold a service advisor into a manager. I happened to be on vacation, and that person let deal go really south. She didn't control the situation. It was just a bad deal, and I needed to be at the shop. There was no way for me to take care of this problem being out of the country. And at that point is when I realized that I need a manager that will run the shop just like me when I'm there or when I'm gone, and I'm going to find that person. And as a matter of fact, I found that person when I was on that vacation. I realized that the temperature was too hot and I needed to put the flame out. By you saying the temperature, that was perfect because that's exactly what happened with me.
Very good, Larry. I'm glad I motivated that story. And I do kind of believe that so many of us make big moves because of the temperature of things. Maybe stress is temperature somewhere along the line.
Temperature is something we talk about quite often. When you're not in the business no more, all of us owners really struggle with the guilt factor. We've worked side by side with these guys for years, and now all of a sudden, we're no longer turning wrenches. So I hear stories from wives and spouses, and we all go through it. It's huge. But one of the biggest things for me is temperature. I constantly tell my wife, man, I need to go in and feel the temperature of the shop. And what I mean about that is I need to see the moods of my staff. If it's a Friday night, we get this fear. My goodness, are they burnt out? Are they coming back on Monday morning? We have to run in and feel the temperature of our staff. Another tough thing for us, we have to remember we learn from failure. And sometimes we have to sit back. We see situations because we're all guilty of watching cameras, watching our point of sale, know they've overlooked this customer. The problem is if we call and let them know, they're never going to remember. But if we let the situation play out, let them get yelled at just a little bit from a customer, they're like us. They're never going to let it happen again.
Got it. Don't try to anticipate. Yeah.
I actually had a technician that guilt factor was it, that I feel like that all the time, or like, you step back and work and you're busy doing things, but like I should be doing more here. And I had a technician that I could just kind of tell by checking the temperature, something wasn't right with him. And closed door meeting with him, talking with him during this time. And I said, I feel like you guys don't think that I'm watching, but I can tell that this is going on. And he looked right at me and he said, oh no, we know that you're watching. So they know that when there's something that's supposed to be going on in the shop that's not, they've got someplace to go, but that inevitably you're still there, even though your body's not there.
When I think of temperature and I think of an old management axiom from years ago, MBWA, managed by walking around, you are the thermostat or the temperature machine when you do that, because you're out there feeling, using your intellect, your common sense, your intuition to take temperature. And I love that. To everyone's point about making sure the temperature is good once you've elevated an individual into a new role and responsibility, if you don't have this individual in the back of your mind, you think that, and you're at 120 degrees, you've got to bring your temperature to a life-living, less stressful point. And maybe that's the whole piece of this. Ask yourself, if you're, first of all, I love what I do. I just can't do anything but live in this chaos all the time. Between me and you, I don't think people like that are going to make it in the next 3 to 4 years. It's too much is going on, too complicated, too much high tech, too many struggles for market share, and to do everything right. It's a sophisticated business today. Agree?
I would say the biggest thing with bringing in a shop manager is you have to give them the tools, the resources to be successful, and you have to stay out of the way. You cannot micromanage or you're preventing their growth.
Back to the temperature, I know one of my biggest things is, and I know you guys as well, is my name is on the building. So if you see a customer out, I want to hear how great we did. I don't want to get that temperature, the heat from somebody that says we didn't fix their car properly or we overcharged them or whatever. And I stress that to my guys. My manager stresses it to them. His name's on the building, and me as a manager is here to keep that good name no matter what it takes. And there's nothing worse that can ruin your evening out to dinner or vacation or what. When somebody messages in, they've had a bad experience. My temperature goes through the roof at that time. So,
guys, I hear you talking about manager, shop foreman. Is it the same job?
I don't think it is. I think the technical aspect of it, if you think about every one of our shops, when you started a shop, you had this Michael Gerber entrepreneurial dream, and you were going to start a shop. You were a technician. Everybody went to you. Every guy that, when you went to the second guy, the third guy, the fourth guy, everybody came to you for the answer. That's the deal. That guy is a separate person than somebody that's going to write an SOP, somebody that's going to direct the business, look at the marketing, do all those different jobs that you can take off of your plate. As soon as you take something off of your plate, the fact that you are an entrepreneur, you're going to put something right back on your plate. You're going to have something to do. If you're lucky enough that you will walk away, you'll do that for a month, and then you'll be bored and you'll open 4 shops like Andy.
And we run our shops like Steve. We've got a writer manager for the front of the house. We've got a service manager for the back of the house. Them and the district managers are our leadership team.
Perfect. It seems very lean.
The more shops I open, the more intelligent I get.
Wow. Intelligence comes with a lot of crap.
The school of hard knocks.
When you say awful lean, what do you mean by that? Because I think, and like a lot of owners, I would think like, wow, I went from doing this all myself and now I'm paying 3 people to do this job. So Is that enough? Is it not enough?
If you look at the number of places that Andy has, it seems lean for that size of organization. No, you don't have 4 people running your place if you have 5 bays in one location. So let's talk about that. Typical shop we're talking to. 5 bays, let's say there's 3 or 4 technicians. Are we going to, important to have a shop manager / foreman?
I think it depends on the technicians. If you've got A techs or 3 of the 4 A techs, you don't necessarily need a shop foreman. Mm-hmm. But if you're running 2 or 3 Bs or Cs, you probably need an A tech that is also a working foreman.
Got it. And that's the key. I keep hearing a lot about that there's a lot of really top technology specialists or A techs also worrying about the shop is the shop foreman.
That goes for me as well. When I built my first shop, I was 9 bays and I was in the shop and I was up front and I, played all the roles, had probably 4 techs. I didn't think I needed a manager and I didn't need a manager. I could handle it myself. When we sold that building and built a 16 bay shop and, I've gradually grown, 4 techs, 5 techs, 6 techs, 7, 8, 9, and now we're up to 10 technicians. A person cannot mold or take care of that many people by themselves, whether it's the service advisors. We've grown from 1 service advisors to now we've got 3. It takes more than 1 person to do that. And that's a lot to rest on one person's shoulders. So that's, when we stepped out and we're as big as we are now, that's when I realized that we need a manager.
When we said that there's these A technicians, plenty of them out there, there's really not. And that's why I think a lot more shops have a go-to guy or a couple A techs or somebody like that. But if you're going to hire these people in, you've got to have somebody, even if it's a 3-4 bay shop, you've got to have that guy. So once you have that guy and you go have the conversation with them, hey, do you like to lead? Because if they don't like to lead, there's a lot of the prima donna technicians. We've all used that word before. That's not your guy, right? But once you do that, all of a sudden a guy that you've seen produce 40, 50, 60 hours of labor, if he's answering questions now, you're going to have to compensate him differently because you may only get 25 hours out of this guy, but you're going to get more hours out of your C and your B level guys. So that's the time, whether you're a 14 bay place or 16 bay place or a 4 or 5 bay place, when you see that happen, that's the time that you need to find that leader in your shop.
A lot of times when that leader comes from within the organization, they've been on a level playing field. So they're friends with all the technicians. They go to lunch with all the technicians. And for us to ask them to step up and now lead the team is challenging for them. They also have to understand many of them have never been in the leadership position. A lot of stores like ours have younger technicians and they have to be, a leader to them. They have to be the ones when they come in off the tool truck that says, slow down just a minute. We don't need this $50,000 toolbox. You're getting ready to get married, have children, have a housing payment. Slow down.
That's a great point. Wow. An in-house promotion when that person was part of the team. What have you done to help this individual become a better leader? Have you gotten classes or some kind of advisorship for them?
My shop foreman, when I stepped him up to shop foreman, we started going to some different leadership conferences. Even his parents have spoken on the changes in him personally.
Mine was a conversation with the guy. And then after we decided what that looked like, then it was presented to the whole team. Here's what we're going to do. Again, an SOP. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. This is why we're going to do it. These are the expectations. And I'm going to see that it goes through. That's the chain of command. If you had to do that outside, I don't know. That was something I was just thinking about when we were talking about if you have an A tech that's a great A tech, but he doesn't want to lead. Can a B or a C technician do that? Can that guy get into that role? I don't know. That would be a great question. I think you could look for the leadership qualities, or you can maybe put that down as your job description of what you're trying to hire. Maybe there is a technician at a different shop, and he's like, you know what? I've been a technician a long time, and I never get to lead this shop. There's things I'd like to do, but here's this job where they're looking for a shop foreman where I get to lead and share my skills with some. Maybe you get an outside guy like that wouldn't even come look at you if you're just like, come over here and fix cars for me instead of him. Well, they're already doing that.
It would be tough to find or have a B or C tech to be your leader in the shop that he was already there, because I don't think the guys are going to respect him because he doesn't know as much as they do. For me, it was a little bit easier. Mine, I went to high school with, I went to college tech school with. He'd been working with me for a long time when I put him in that role. So I just changed him over to a salary where he could make sure all of the guys are, I kind of put him as part of a dispatcher. You know, I know a lot of shops don't have dispatchers like the dealerships do, but I kind of gave him the role as dispatching work out as well. So he could give the work out to the person that best fits that job. And then he takes some of the electrical jobs, some of the tougher jobs, and then helps people out. And yet he's salary, so he doesn't mind taking those bigger jobs or helping people out, or, you know, the horrible electrical jobs that could take hours to find. I think if you were to take a B or C tech and you had another location, it would be best to move him in that other location where he wasn't working with those guys the entire time, because I think it'd be hard for people to respect him.
That's a good point.
It's a really good point. You said salary. Is it all salary? Is there incentives for goal reaching?
No, there's not for him. No, I've thought about doing something like that, but I do give all the guys bonuses and stuff at the end. And, you know, I give him a bonus as well at the end of the year around Christmas time. So,
Andy, how do you do it?
So we set our shop foreman up on salary, and then he gets a bonus based on tech efficiency and total build hours. So it puts the ball in his court. He's got to decide kind of the sweet spot of how many hours he can bill while getting the maximum production out of the team.
Mine is all the way down to, I know that 300 hours is the bogey in my shop. And so when the shop hits 300 hours, that means that my guys are all working at an efficiency level that I like, or that we have decided as a team. His is a salary, which is a nice salary, and 1% of labor that is sold. If he's in charge of seeing those hours get done and the right guy doing them, I'm compensating him on 300 hours times our effective labor rate. He gets 1% of all that. And that's weekly.
Good discussion. I hope we change some people's think on when to hire. We didn't talk about who to look for and the kind of qualities, because I think a lot of the discussion we had was trying to make an internal career move. Again, a lot of challenges there. Andy, didn't you go outside for 5 years?
Mine come from internally. The second shop we did hire from outside. And that's a challenge in itself, to bring somebody in from the outside world and say, this guy is now your boss. You need to look up to him. That takes some work.
Do you look him in the eye and says, listen, you've trusted me for all these years. Trust me on this?
And even when they come from internally, we have to clearly hand off the ball and say, this is your go-to. He has all the power that I have. He is now your go-to.
You ever have to send someone back? He says, Andy, it's Carm. Hey, look, I got to know something. And did you ever say, you got to go back and talk to Joe? And if not, you're going to totally lose the reason you did what you did.
Well, the guys were kind of sneaky in the beginning, because when I was still in the shop and had put our shop foreman in place, the guys would come to me. I would go over to the car, which that's the way we all were. We all were the yes guys. You know, we walk over to the car, we figure it out for them. And what's that doing? That's teaching the technician the path of least resistance is, hey, come get me. I'll figure it out for you. Well, we all might as well end up hanging a necklace around our neck with take a number. So ultimately, you know, as we get past this and I've got a shop foreman, these guys are coming to me. I go back, I spend a half hour looking at diagrams to help them, and end up finding out my shop foreman had already spent the same half hour. So it was crazy. It became, you ask them, did you go to the shop foreman?
For me, I worked at dealerships, you know, the first part of my life. I worked under several different managers. At those places, the managers were just numbers people. They didn't really know anything else. Some of the shops, the owners were there and some were not. But you could never go to anyone above the manager. And if there were so many things not right, and I learned a lot from working at the dealerships, and I think that's part of my success now. I didn't want to be like that. If there was a problem in the shop, I put things in place, like I've got a suggestion box. If you go to my manager and he's hiding something, like I used to see at the dealers, he's not letting me know that there's a problem in the shop, whether it's a technician or the problem with the manager, and he's hiding stuff and I don't know about it. That used to happen all the time at the dealer. So I've got a suggestion box and I've got it out in the shop with a key that locks it, and I've got the key. And then I also tell my technicians, all of you have my phone numbers. You go to my manager, but if there's a problem that you need to talk to me about, text me. We'll go out to dinner. We'll go out and have a beer. We'll talk about the problems that are in the shop. If there's a problem in the shop, I want to head it off before it becomes a problem. I've not had those issues.
But before they go to you, Larry, would you say, hey, did you talk to Manager Joe about this?
Exactly.
They're not going around him, but they went to him and now they're going to you. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who said it earlier, but my service manager used to have me do special things. He'd be like, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. And he would give me, more hours than I was supposed to get or whatever, pay me on other jobs. And then, he would say, well, you're going to get a raise here. But I never did get it because he was promising it. But when he would go to his superiors or the owner, they're like, no, we can't do that. So tech kids at my shop, I'm like, here's the thing. It'd be the difference between family owned and a corporate, like a dealership or corporate businesses. I'm here. I'm a real person. And if there's a problem in the shop that the manager can't take care of, or you feel you're not being taken care of properly from the manager, you've got my number. Stop me anytime. We can meet outside of work so people don't know that you're coming to me on the side.
Hey, guys, great discussion. I want to go around the room. I want to have you have a chance to say one final thing. But Larry, I would love for your final words to be about what happened when you started to look at your in-laws' health. And that for you was a big life changer in your think about getting more people.
Yes. So my father-in-law was a farmer. He worked all the time. Before I built my business, we asked him, are you going to want us to take over the farm? And he's like, no, I have no notion to retire at this point. So we built a house, we lived 3 hours away from him. Then I built my business. He decides he's going to retire. And within a year, maybe 2 years, he found out he had cancer. Luckily, we are in our business where I could have my wife quit her job so she could help take care of her mom. Her mom's sick too now. And her dad passed last March. It was an eye opener because tomorrow's not guaranteed. I want to take more time off, and the managers helped allow that to happen. And not only that, if something would happen to me, I want my business to run like I'm still there. And it's set up for my wife, set up for my kids if they take over the business someday. So that was a big help of hiring a manager as well for, if something would happen.
Thanks for sharing that. I think a ton of people can relate to that. Steve, how about you? Last words.
So my last words would be, when I built my shop 2 years ago, it was an exit strategy. When you talk to an accountant or anybody that's selling a business, when you go to sell your business and you do not have management in place and they have to replace you, your value, what you feel your business is going to be overvalued what they feel. So in other words, they're going to have to hire you because you are working in your business. You're the general manager. They're going to take $100,000 of value right off of it. They're going to say, we have to put management in place. We can't pay you 3 times. We'll only pay you 2 times because we have to recreate the wheel. It will be, depending on your exit strategy, mission critical to have management in place, period.
Great point. We've talked about it for years here on the podcast about the value of being able to sell the business, and it runs when you aren't there. Andy, last word.
So a lot of times when it's time to get that shop manager, that information comes from a coach, and they're going to tell you need to hire somebody better than yourself. And a lot of owners that's a hard pill to swallow. If you're hiring a service advisor, sometimes that coach will say, now we need to hire a second person that's better than you. The other thing is, once we get that person in, my example, my shop foreman, when he's on vacation or I fulfill his role, I've got to be careful not to do the job better than him. Used to, when I was in that position, I know my customers. I could tell my technicians, you can go ahead and start replacing those brakes. They're going to say yes. I have to be careful not to do that because I'm spoiling the team, and that makes the team say, man, we want you here. Let your leaders be leaders.
That's just a huge statement, guys. Don't be afraid to hire someone better than you. And you got to get your ego out of the way. The beauty of doing that makes you an incredible person. Wow. I think it's very difficult for some people to accept that they're not it anymore. But if you're running the business and the profits are there, and what are we basing our success on? Wealth management, stuff for the kids, retirement. Listen, you as coaches for the Repair Shop of Tomorrow have probably worked harder changing the person you're coaching and helping more than you have the business, because it's them that has to accept and agree to the change, that there's going to be some kind of partner walking down the aisle with them, helping them, at every turn, not holding their hands, but motivating their mind to get these things done. And then they've got to get out of their own way.
As we become coaches, I think we start to realize the things that we've went through in our lives was for us to prepare us to help others on this journey.
That's a perfect end, Andy. Thank you so much. Andy Adams, Steve Finzel, Larry Rose, all coaches at Repair Shop of Tomorrow, and all automotive professional service operation owners.
Actually, I'm not a coach. I'm being coached.
Oh, I'm sorry, Larry. I thought you were a coach.
No, I'm not a coach.
All right. Well, let's make him a coach. Okay.
He's a farmer.
I'm a farmer.
He's a farmer.
Larry, it'll start for you the same way. You would make an awesome coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.